Life doesn't send a warning before it hits you. One morning, everything feels fine, and by nightfall, your world is unrecognizable. A betrayal, a sudden loss, an unexpected storm that rips apart everything you thought was stable. Most people crumble in those moments. They look for someone to blame, somewhere to hide, anything to numb the pain. But here's the cold truth. Life will break you. Not once, not twice, many times. The difference between the broken and the unbreakable isn't luck. It's the mind they build while the world is falling apart. This is where Machiavelli's Law of Power comes alive. A way of thinking that turns pain into fuel, isolation into training, and loss into a strategic advantage. If life is going to test you anyway, why not use the test to make yourself unstoppable? Pain is the one teacher everyone meets, but almost no one wants to learn from. It arrives without asking permission, a sudden layoff, a partner walking away, a friend's betrayal, a health scare. And when it comes, our first instinct is to see it as an enemy. We ask, why me? We try to escape it, cover it up, pretend it's not there. But here's the shift Machiavelli would demand from you. Pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to measure you, to separate the fragile from the forged, to show you what you're really made of. Most people treat pain like a verdict. They decide it means they've failed, that they're unlucky, that the universe has it out for them. But pain is not a verdict. It's a test. And tests exist to be passed. When you see pain as a test, everything changes. A job loss isn't the end of your career. It's an opportunity to sharpen your skills, to reinvent your strategy. A betrayal isn't proof you can't trust anyone. It's proof you need to strengthen your judgment, to read people more carefully. The real danger isn't the pain itself. It's how you respond to it. If you react with panic, you lose clarity. If you react with bitterness, you lose time. But if you respond with discipline, you gain something far more valuable than comfort. You gain control. And that control is the first step to real power. Machiavelli understood that rulers, leaders, and everyday people alike will all face crises. And the ones who rise are the ones who don't run from the fire, but walk through it, learning every step. Pain will test you, it will push you to the edge, and when it does, your goal is simple. Pass the test by becoming stronger, calmer, and sharper than you were before it started. Because once you understand that pain is a test, you're ready for the next lesson. How to control your reactions when it strikes. When life hits you hard, your reaction decides whether you win or lose long before the dust settles. Most people don't realize this. They think the event itself, the betrayal, the loss, the insult, is what breaks them. But more often, it's their reaction that does the real damage. Here's the truth. Comfort kills growth, and emotional reactions kill power. Machiavelli would tell you that control over your emotions isn't just self-help advice. It's survival strategy. The first to react is often the first to lose. Why? Because when you react impulsively, you reveal your weaknesses, your triggers, and your lack of discipline. Think about it. Someone insults you in public, trying to get under your skin. If you flare up, they win. They've made you predictable, easy to read, easy to control. But if you keep your composure, you've just taken the first piece of power off the board. You've shown them you can't be pulled into a game you didn't choose. Your mind must obey your will, not your feelings. That means creating space between stimulus and response. A pause long enough for you to choose a strategy instead of defaulting to instinct. This is emotional discipline. It's not about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them, directing them like a commander moves troops, never wasting them on battles that don't matter. Machiavelli observed that power often belongs to the one who appears calm when everyone else is losing control. This calmness isn't natural, it's trained. And training begins in small moments, holding back a sharp reply, staying silent when provoked, keeping your body language steady even when your mind is storming. When you control your reactions, you do more than protect your image. You keep your options open. You can choose when and how to respond for maximum impact, instead of letting someone else dictate the terms. Because the moment you stop reacting like everyone else, you start playing a different game entirely, one where you set the rules. And once you master control, the next step is even more dangerous, breaking emotional patterns so no one can predict you. Once you've learned to control your reactions, the next step is to break the patterns people expect from you. Humans are creatures of habit. We respond to certain situations in predictable ways. And the people around you, especially those who want to manipulate or dominate you, are watching for those patterns. If they can predict you, they can control you. Think about it. If every time you're criticized, you defend yourself, if every time you're disrespected, you get angry, then you've become an open book. All someone has to do is press the right button, and you'll dance to their tune. Machiavelli's wisdom here is simple. Predictability is vulnerability. To hold power, you must become difficult to read. You must teach the world that it cannot guess your next move. This doesn't mean being fake. It means being strategic. Sometimes you respond. Sometimes you stay silent. Sometimes you walk away entirely. And the key is, they never know which it will be. One of the fastest ways to break a pattern is to change the meaning you give to events. If you've always seen criticism as an attack, start seeing it as data. If you've always treated rejection as failure, start treating it as redirection. By changing your interpretation, you strip away the emotional charge that keeps you predictable. And here's something few understand. Unpredictability doesn't just protect you. It keeps your opponents off balance. They start second-guessing themselves, wasting energy trying to anticipate your moves. That energy could have been used against you. Now it's burned away in their own uncertainty. To practice this, start small. Delay your usual responses. Change the tone you normally use. Surprise people with silence where they expect an argument. Over time, you'll stop being an easy target because you'll no longer be a predictable one. Once you've broken the old patterns, you're ready for something even more radical. Rewriting the very story you tell yourself about who you are. That's where the real transformation begins. Once you've broken the patterns that kept you predictable, it's time to attack the root of those patterns. The story you've been telling yourself about who you are. We all have a personal narrative running in our heads. For some, it's empowering. I'm capable. I'm disciplined. I can overcome anything. For others, it's heavy with limitation. I'm unlucky. I've always been this way. Life is against me. The problem is, your story becomes your reality because your mind works hard to prove it true. If your inner script says you're a victim, you'll unconsciously seek situations that confirm it. If your script says you're powerless, you'll avoid opportunities to lead. That's why Machiavelli would say, kill the broken version of yourself, not because you deny your past, but because you refuse to keep living as its prisoner. Rewriting your story starts with one question. What identity will serve the life I want to build? You decide. Not your parents, not your past failures, not the people who doubted you. If you've always seen yourself as the one who gets hurt, rewrite it. I'm the one who learns fastest from pain. If you've always seen yourself as overlooked, change it. I'm the one people can't ignore when I decide to speak. This is not wishful thinking. It's strategic self-definition. And here's the truth. The world treats you according to the identity you project. If you walk into every room as someone seeking approval, You'll be treated as someone who needs permission. If you walk in as someone who doesn't wait for permission, people will adjust to you. So burn the script that kept you small. Write a new one with precision and intention. Every choice you make from now on should reinforce the identity you've chosen, not the one you were given. When you rewrite your story, you don't just change how you see yourself. You change the way the world responds to you, and that makes you dangerous in the best way possible. Once you've rewritten your story, the next step is to protect it. And the fastest way to lose power is to tie your peace, worth, or stability to things you can't control. Attachment is weakness. Not because love, ambition, or loyalty are bad, but because the wrong kind of attachment makes you dependent. If your happiness depends on someone's approval, a job title, or how the world treats you, then all it takes is for those things to shift, and your stability collapses. Machiavelli understood this well. The one who needs less holds the most leverage. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop needing. You can enjoy wealth without needing it to feel important. You can love someone without making them the sole source of your happiness. You can work hard for a goal without letting failure destroy your sense of self. When you detach, you regain control over your emotions. Someone insults you, you don't spiral, because your self-worth isn't tied to their words. You lose an opportunity, you don't break, because you know there will always be more paths. Your peace is no longer something the world can take away. And here's the power move. Detachment makes you unpredictable. If people can't control you with threats, flattery, or temptation, they can't manipulate you. If you're willing to walk away, you negotiate from strength. If you don't need constant validation, you become immune to emotional blackmail. To practice detachment, start small. Audit your daily emotional triggers. Notice what makes you instantly angry, jealous, or anxious. And ask yourself, what am I attached to here? Then start loosening that grip. Shift your focus back to what you can control. Your actions, your mindset, your discipline. Detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It's the freedom to move, choose, and respond on your own terms. When you master it, you're no longer just surviving life. You're directing it. Once you've learned detachment, there's a natural next step, isolation. Not the kind where you cut yourself off in bitterness, but the kind where you step away from the noise so you can hear your own thoughts again. Most people are terrified of being alone because in silence, their insecurities get louder. They drown themselves in distractions, social media, endless conversations, constant entertainment, just to avoid facing the raw truth about who they are. But Machiavelli knew that solitude is a forge. It's where clarity sharpens, strategy forms, and self-mastery grows. Think of isolation as your personal war room. In the quiet, you can review your battles, the wins, the losses, the mistakes, without outside interference. You can plan without people's doubts infecting your vision. You can train your mind without being pulled in 1,000 different directions. Isolation is also an audit. When you're alone, you realize which habits are truly yours and which ones you've adopted just to fit in. You see which beliefs are your own and which ones were programmed into you. This awareness is dangerous to the people and systems that benefit from your confusion. That's why so few ever pursue it. But here's the real power. When you return from isolation, you come back sharper, harder to influence, and far more dangerous to your enemies. People can sense when a person has been through a period of disciplined solitude. You speak less, but carry more weight. Your moves are fewer, but more precise. To start, carve out small zones of isolation. A daily hour without your phone, a weekend without social media, a morning where you don't speak to anyone before you've written down your thoughts. Over time, Expand it. Make solitude a part of your strategy, not just a temporary escape. A king is not crowned in the crowd, he is crowned in the quiet, long before anyone sees the crown. Isolation is where you build the mind that can rule your own life. And maybe, if you choose, much more than that. Pain is life's most brutal teacher, but also its most loyal one. It shows up uninvited, stays longer than you want, and leaves scars that never fade. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid it, numb it, or pretend it isn't there. But if you want an unbreakable mind, you can't treat pain like a curse. You have to treat it like a blueprint. Machiavelli understood that power is not built in comfort. Power is forged in pressure, setbacks, and loss. The difference between the weak and the strong is simple. The weak let pain define them. The strong let pain refine them. Here's the shift. Stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" Every hardship is data. It's feedback about your limits, your blind spots, and the people around you. That betrayal you went through, it taught you who can't be trusted. That failure that humiliated you, it showed you where your skills were weak. That heartbreak that tore you apart, it exposed the parts of yourself you were giving away too freely. When you turn pain into strategy, you stop reacting emotionally and start moving with precision. You stop playing checkers and start playing chess. You don't waste energy proving you're hurt. You invest it in making sure you'll never be hurt the same way again. To do this, you need a system. 1. Pause before reacting. Distance yourself from the heat of the moment. 2. Extract the lesson. Write down what happened and what it taught you. 3. Apply it fast. Adjust your habits, your boundaries, your strategy. 4. Move silently. Let your results, not your complaints, speak. Pain without strategy is just suffering. Pain with strategy is transformation. Every scar becomes armor. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every loss becomes a weapon you can wield in the next fight. And when you live like this, pain stops being something you fear. It becomes something you welcome. Because you know that on the other side of it, you're not just surviving. You're evolving into someone no one can break. Life will break you. It won't ask for permission, and it won't care how prepared you think you are. But here's the truth we've uncovered. Being broken is not the end. It's the beginning of something sharper, stronger, and far more dangerous than you were before. You've learned to rewrite your story, to detach from what controls you, to isolate and hear your own voice again, and to turn your pain into a strategy that makes you untouchable. This isn't just survival. This is the foundation of power. Machiavelli's law is simple. Power belongs to those who build themselves in the shadows and move with intention in the light. If you want a mind that no betrayal can weaken, no loss can destroy, and no fear can control, you have to do the work, quietly, daily, and without seeking applause. So here's your challenge. Starting today, take one principle from what you've just heard and apply it before the sun goes down. Not next week. Not when life gets easier. Now. Because no one is coming to save you. But the person you become after doing this work will never need saving. If this message sparks something in you, share it with someone who's ready to hear the truth. And if you're ready to keep building this kind of mind, then stay close, because the next lesson is already on its way.